So we hopped on a quick 45-minute ferry from Paros to Naxos, not really knowing what to expect. To be honest, Naxos was kind of a last-minute addition. Just a 2-day stopover to explore the main town and catch sunset at the famous Temple of Apollo. But the moment we arrived, we realized this island's something special. The coastline was dramatic, the beaches were unreal, and the whole place had this authentic, easygoing vibe that totally caught us off guard, in the best way. So not every trip starts out the way you hope, and let's just say ours kicked off a little more uphill than expected, literally. When I book on booking.com, I usually do my homework, read the reviews, check the photos, all the usual stuff. And for this trip, I was sticking to a more streamlined budget since there were 5 of us. I figured, hey, we've got a rental car, why not just stay 5 minutes from town with the view? Well, what those glowing reviews did not mention was the journey to get there. Think narrow dirt roads, steep switchbacks, and a climb that truly worked out our rental car. Thank goodness for Mike, who somehow managed to work the clutch in Florida to get us up that beast of a hill. Tires were spinning, dust was flying, and nerves were definitely frayed. It wasn't exactly the welcome we expected, but hey, we made it. In total contrast to our uphill adventure, things turned around quickly. After a short rest, we made our way to our very first beach on the island, Agios, Prokopios. And wow, just wow. The moment we saw the water, I had this thought it might be the most beautiful water I've ever seen. Crystal clear, glowing with shades of turquoise and deep blue. It was absolutely stunning. At first it seemed crowded with beach clubs and umbrellas packed along the shore, but here's a little tip, just keep walking. As we wandered farther down the beach, the crowds faded, and we found our perfect little patch of paradise. Wide open sand and endless sparkling water all to ourselves. This is our happy place. While Greece is breathtakingly beautiful, it also faces harsh realities, especially in the dry summer months. The seaplanes flew over, putting out a fire somewhere on one of the Greek islands. But in that moment, sitting by the sea, everything just felt still, peaceful, perfect. Definitely put this beach on your list if you're visiting Naxos. Of course, we were hungry after the beach, so we found this tavern with some pretty good reviews. We didn't love the food, but the place was adorable and the atmosphere was lively, and the service was 10 out of 10.
Here we are, a small digestive we make from the skin of the grapes. Enjoy, Yaman!
Ready, everybody? There we go. Oh yes, I grappa. Oh, go, Cody, go. We spent our evening strolling Naxos town, a mix of whitewashed Cycladic charm and layers of Venetian history. Down below, those same winding alleys spill into the old market street, a labyrinth of stone-paved walkways filled with a variety of shops and restaurants. Tiny art galleries hide between souvenir stands, and the boutiques are filled with beachwear, linens, and leather. Here you can find everything from handmade jewelry and intricate ceramics to local cheeses, olive oils, and woven textiles. I was so happy to finally find the perfect necklace to remind me of Greece. And of course, we had to spend some time with those cats that were constantly at your feet begging for whatever scraps you could spare. The next morning, we left the coast behind and set out to explore the inland villages of Naxos, starting with Chalki, a village tucked into the valley, surrounded by olive groves and rolling hills. It felt like stepping back in time. This used to be the island's old capital, and you can still feel the sense of history in its neoclassical architecture, quiet stone alleyways, and charming little squares. There's a slower pace here, locals chatting over coffee, beautiful shops filled with handmade goods. From there, we drove on to Filoti, built along the slopes of Mount Zos, dating back to the Byzantine era and has long been a cultural and agricultural heart of the island. But on the day we visited, it was very quiet. The streets were still, the cafes mostly empty, and there was this calm, slow energy in the air, as if the village was taking a breath. We wandered slowly past hand-painted murals on stone walls, peeked into a few traditional shops, and of course, stopped to pet every cat we saw along the way. We passed by the impressive Church of Panagia, dedicated to the Virgin Mary and known as one of the most important churches in Naxos. And then, tucked away on a side street, we found this unforgettable little place that was part shop, part museum. It felt like stepping back into a time capsule. Next, we headed to the southern coast of Naxos towards Chalki Beach, the home of that famous half-finished abandoned hotel we'd seen in photos. It's in this most beautiful spot with the ocean all around you, and then graffiti artists have taken and decorated all the walls. This large resort was begun in the late 1960s and early 1970s. The plan was to create a grand, high-end complex on a stretch of coastline backed by cedar-filled sand dunes. But construction was abruptly halted due to disputed land ownership claims. Decades of legal battles eventually ended only in 2010, and the land was officially classified as public forest, leaving the buildings forever unfinished. It's crazy that they abandoned that hotel. It's on the most beautiful piece of property. It's beautiful. Okay, we're trying to decide which beach we want to go to. We have Aliko Beach on this side, and then Hawaii Beach over here. Which one are you feeling, Carly?
I like Hawaii.
Hawaii Beach is like, which I think is Hawaii Beach. It's just a really sweet little cove over here. It's really nice, whereas this one looks a little bit bigger. How's it feel? Oh, come on. Later that day, we followed a local tip from our hotel host, who told us to park at a nearby taverna to check out Mikri Vigla beach. We stopped in for a casual lunch, sipped on Freddo cappuccinos, and got ready for a low-key afternoon. What we didn't know was that Mikri Vigla would totally surprise us and become our favorite beach on the island. We started off just lounging on the sand, soaking in the views. Lindsay grabbed her snorkel and headed straight out for the rocks, and then those rocks started calling our name. They reminded us of the big, smooth granite boulders we climbed in Sardinia, like they were made to be explored, so we couldn't resist. We started climbing higher and higher from rock to rock, and with every step, the views just kept getting better. Turquoise water stretching in every direction. It felt like we had found a little adventure hidden in paradise. Look at this spot. It's reminiscent of Sardinia, when we used to go climbing up in the rocks. It's really the only thing that could compare. It's beautiful. Then I found these really beautiful bracelets, but without cash. The guy promised he would hold them for me if I came and picked them up tomorrow, so I guess we'll have to come back. The other side of Mikri Vigla Beach is very windy and known for kite surfing, so this would be the area for kite surfing. For our final evening, we made our way to the most iconic spot on the island, the Temple of Apollo, also known as the Portara. It sits alone on a tiny islet at the edge of the harbor, connected to the town by a narrow path. This massive marble doorway is all that remains of an unfinished temple dating back to the 6th century BC. But even in its ruin, it's breathtaking. Framed by the endless sea and sky, it's become a symbol of Naxos, and it's easy to see why. Being here at sunset is truly breathtaking. On our last morning in Naxos, while the kids slept in, Mike and I snuck out for one more quiet adventure. We hit the road back towards Mikri Vigla, not just to pay for my bracelets from the day before, but to revisit the spot that had stolen our hearts. As we drove along the coast, we soaked in every curve of the road, every view of the sea. We thought about the possibilities of where we might stay next time. The stretch from Plaka Beach to Orcos was stunning, lined with charming rentals and postcard-perfect views. It was full of possibility. We are walking down Plaka Beach. Plaka. Walking down Plaka Beach. It'd be really great if I could find a seashell, the Naxos, Eye of Naxos seashell. We're looking everywhere. I bought a necklace last night. Supposedly made. You can find them here. But the waves are coming in so quick. And then we arrived back at our favorite place at my favorite time of the day. The morning light was golden, the water somehow even more brilliant than the day before, and we had it practically all to ourselves. Mike dove in for one last swim, and I found my bracelet guy sitting at the taverna having his morning coffee before setting up shop for the day. Then we set off for one more climb up the rocks, this time with the drone. The footage we captured really helped get a better sense of where we were and how beautiful it truly was. It was the perfect way to end our time here. Peaceful, beautiful, the little rock climbing. And as we sat there and enjoyed the views, we only wondered, when are we coming back?